The International Criminal Court in The Hague has decided to go after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel and their defense minister, Gallant. This is unprecedented and absolutely insane, but when you hear the people behind it, you will probably go, that kind of makes sense. Because we got Hollywood people behind this. We got the prosecutor. When you hear the prosecutor's name, you're going to be like, oh, okay, that's why. Because when you hear the prosecutor's name, Karim Ahmad Khan, you can just take a guess at where this is coming from. We got a lot to talk about, and this is going to certainly shake some things up there. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and we're talking about the things that the international media does not want to talk about, the stuff that is just too truthful. So let's get into it. So prosecutor Karim Ahmad Khan, with consultations with George Clooney's wife, has decided to petition the International Criminal Court for an arrest warrant for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Gallant, because that's a normal thing to do. Now, the political process has already issued an arrest warrant for Putin over there, but of course, many more war criminals out there, many more genocidal maniacs are still not getting their arrest warrants just yet. You look over at North Korea and you see Kim Jong-un over there. He's killed, by most accountings, somewhere between 1.6 million to maybe around 3.5 million people in his own country, which is a sizable portion of his population. But the International Criminal Court says, oh, we don't have jurisdiction there, so yeah, we're not going to do anything about that. No arrest warrants out there for President Xi of China, even though he's killed potentially over 1 million people under his watch. And one nation after the next of absolute tyranny and just absolute horrors. But yet they decide to go after, yes, Israel. So prosecutor Karim Ahmad Khan, take a guess where he's born, or where he's from, him and his family, where is he from, and just take a random guess at what his religion might be. If he's going after Israel for crimes against humanity, does it surprise anyone to hear that he is Muslim and a member of a mosque? Probably won't surprise anyone to hear that his father was born in Pakistan. Yeah, you go, well, that kind of adds up. Now, he is a British citizen, but, well, let's just say parts of Britain are so Islamified. That's why we jokingly call London Londonstan, because it is so overwhelmed and overtaken by Muslims that they have a Muslim mayor and have for a number of years. And yes, these guys, in cooperation with Hollywood's elite, the wife of George Clooney, Amal Clooney, she was working hand in hand with Karim to bring about this prosecution for war crimes. What are they saying that Israel has done to warrant that a head of state be declared a war criminal and demanded to turn himself in to The Hague, where we executed Nazis for war crimes and for the Holocaust. Yes, let's bring the head of Israel, one of the most humanitarian-focused militaries in the world, if not the most. They have taken such great pains to avoid civilian casualties that the United States would even do. let alone other countries. But here's the charge: causing extermination, causing starvation as a method of war. Now, I don't want to get too technical in this, but the general definition of war is that you have to have two countries, right? If you have two countries, you can have a war. But there's one little slight problem here, and that is that we don't have two countries, we have one country. We have Israel, and we have the Palestinian areas of Israel. So, war, yeah, we don't have jurisdiction to go into North Korea, even though they killed potentially 3.5 million people over there. We're not sure how many people they've killed, but that's okay. But Israel going after a noted terrorist organization funded by Iran and others. Yeah. Let's see. Let's continue on. Including the denial of humanitarian relief supplies. Except they're letting humanitarian relief supplies through. They allowed the United States to build a pier to more efficiently offload relief supplies. Their only concern all along has been to make sure there isn't bags of bullets in the bags of rice, which they consistently find, because the Muslim countries all around them are trying desperately to get more weapons and stuff into the Gaza Strip and such. So they want to actually slow down humanitarian relief in order for it to actually be like searched, which apparently is a crime against humanity. And deliberately targeting civilians in conflict. This is the country that has consistently given warnings before destroying buildings. Like warning, hey, we're going to blow up this building. They're dropping noisemaker mortars on top of the roof of a building to let everyone know that this building is about to be destroyed. Or dropping leaflets to tell people to evacuate areas because they're going to come into these areas. Yeah, war criminals. That's exactly what the guys in Germany were doing back in the 1940s. They were absolutely just warning civilians, hey, please leave because we don't want to hurt you. So Ahmed Khan, because Ahmed, of course, just tells you where this is coming from, has decided in his infinite wisdom to petition the International Criminal Court to, now they haven't issued the arrest warrant just yet for Netanyahu or Gallant, but that very well may happen shortly. Now, 124 countries have signed on to the Rome Statute. The United States is not one of them, but Canada, Australia, a whole bunch of countries in Europe, a bunch of countries in Africa. Basically, if someone who has an arrest warrant out for them sets foot in any one of these countries, they are under legal obligation to arrest the war criminal. And this is where we are. Now, he did say, well, we should also bring in the leader of Hamas and also the political leader of Hamas. But those are the only two guys from Hamas, even though there's plenty more that they could have picked from. They wanted to pick two guys from Hamas so they could pick on two guys from Israel, because there's a moral equivalency in their minds between what Hamas is doing with the intentional targeting of civilians, the taking of prisoners, hostages, and murdering those hostages, torturing those hostages. That's morally equivalent to what Israel's doing, trying to attack the terrorists. But anyway, so we have all this going on. We have the UN just today having this UN Security Council had a moment of silence for the president of Iran, who has died in a helicopter crash, Raisi, and also known as the Butcher of Tehran. And we'll get into why he's called the Butcher of Tehran, for the thousands and thousands of people that he butchered. But the UN Security Council has a moment of silence for him, but they're all on board with Iran being on the, let's see here, Ambassador of the Islamic Republic of Iran and permanent representative to the United Nations, was chosen to chair the 2023 United Nations Human Rights Council. Hard not to choke on that one. The Human Rights Council, Social Forum. Yeah, okay, so they decided to pick one of the most gross violators of human rights out there. This is just how absurd of a joke everything has become. We have people in the United States being prosecuted for saying the wrong thing, and then we have other people who happen to walk across a certain border and they're allowed to murder and do all sorts of crimes, horrific crimes, and yet they get a slap on the wrist. Anyone who tries to defend themselves or defend people who need to be defended will get locked away for 30 or 40 years in jail. But we can't deport people who murder people and dismember people. No, we can't do that. It's insane world. These people who are running our country, these globalists, these Hollywood elites, they think they know what's best, and yet they're so twisted and warped in their framework of understanding of what is right and what is wrong. They want to equivalent the massacre of civilians, intentionally so, and the torture of hostages to military action and police action within countries. They want to prosecute police officers in the United States and people who are defending themselves and defending other people. But the people prosecuting those crimes should be let go free. It's just absolutely insane. So, of course, it makes sense to make the Iran leader of the Human Rights Council, because that makes sense, and to have moments of silence for butchers. During his presidential campaign, Raisi, in 2016, a tape was leaked of an important cleric talking about Raisi's role in the mass executions of up to 5,000 political prisoners in 1988. I'm proud, this is his words, I am proud of being a defender of human rights and of people's security and comfort as a prosecutor wherever I was. And that was speaking about his role in the so-called death commissions of the 1980s. And he felt so bad about that in 2022, when we had the mass protests, peaceful protests across Iran, that he decided to do the very same thing while he's in power. He blasted the protests as unacceptable acts of chaos. And so Iranian authorities fiercely cracked down on the demonstrations, killing more than 500 people and detaining 22,000 others, many of whom disappeared. That's code. That's code for we have a UN that, I mean, we all know how inept and stupid and ineffective the UN is. You look at the UN forces that were deployed to Rwanda during the genocide that stood by under orders from the UN to not interfere. Not interfere. The commander, the Canadian commander of the force in Rwanda begged to be allowed to interfere with the people that were being massacred just outside the compound gate. And he defied orders and brought in as many people into this compound as he possibly could to protect them from being slaughtered. But the UN chose to stand by and watch because it would be politically inconvenient. And that was in the very recent history. And we see that time and time again. So the UN is brave and bold when it's prosecuting civilized nations who are trying to protect civilians with everything that they can. And at the same time, when it comes to actually prosecuting war criminals and genocidal lunatics and dictators around the world, you might ask the question of why the International Criminal Court didn't have a warrant of arrest out for Raisi, or for Khomeini, or for anyone in Iran. Everybody knows Hezbollah is a terrorist organization. How many of the Hezbollah guys have an arrest warrant out for them from the International Criminal Court? None of them. And up till today, until this recommendation for 2 of Hamas's guys to actually have an arrest warrant, up till now, none of them. They can slaughter thousands of Israelis, but civilians, and we're finally, just to balance the scale out, a couple Hamas guys are thrown on the arrest warrant to balance out the heads of state for the Israel government. Absolutely insane, friends. And the chances of Israel turning over Benjamin Netanyahu and Gallant over to the International Criminal Court, somewhere below 0% chance. Somewhere below that. You have to get kind of negative. Like nobody, even Benjamin Netanyahu's worst enemies in the nation of Israel, would never even countenance the idea of surrendering him to the International Criminal Court. And the politicians across Israel have already, now the government, the wartime government in Israel has started to fracture. But this has rallied the troops. If anything else, it has given Benjamin Netanyahu a second wind, because everyone in Israel realizes how absolutely insane this is. But George Clooney and his wife think this is perfectly normal. And so do the Muslims of London-stan. All right, friends, that's what we have going on in The Hague, the International Criminal Court. Absolutely insane. All right, friends, thanks so much for joining with us. If you want to check out another video from this channel, we'll keep you up to date. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.